Manuel, what's going on, man?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you great. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, absolutely. But I hear you on my computer and not on my headset. So I just
Oh, you're good. Take your
am
time.
going to fix it in a second. There we go.
Now you can hear me all
Just
right?
perfect.
Heck yeah, dude. So it's Manuel, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Manuel.
Manuel, I love it. Okay. Dude, I'm excited. Nick reached out to me. He's like, bro, Manuel got a deal. I was like, dude, I don't even know who Manuel is, but I'm excited to meet this guy. So this will be cool. So let's just start ripping, dude. So where are you from right now? Like where are you living?
I'm living in Brussels, Belgium. So it's a little bit away from where you are.
Just a little bit, dude. What's the time difference there? What time is it there?
There's 8 hours difference from you. It's 3:20 p.m. at
Oh,
this moment.
yeah. So we're basically in the same day for like a short amount of time.
Yes, correct.
That's cool,
I'm a
dude.
little bit ahead. I'm a little bit
Yeah,
ahead.
a little bit. That's cool, dude. Did you grow up there or what?
Yeah, I'm initially from Belgium, but I've lived in China, in Japan, and in the US. But this is where I mainly live.
Gotcha. And what brought you there? Like, did you just want to go somewhere or what?
Oh, I lived 1 year in China to discover when I was 17, and then I worked for electronics company, and that was between Japan and the US, where basically stuff was happening.
Oh, so you were just work. You were work. You basically your work took you there.
Yes, that's work that brought me in Japan and US.
Gotcha.
Yep.
That's sweet, man. Well, cool. So I'm gonna ask you some questions, but like how did you come across the group? Like were you seeking it out? Like kind of what were you like what mindset were
So
you in?
it's a little it's a well, not so long of a story, but about one year, 1.5 year ago, I was really at the lowest point of my life, feeling extremely lonely in a tiny city in Belgium, feeling miserable in my day job. And then I discovered a self-development group, very expensive stuff, but very powerful. And that's where I realized that I still had some energy in me. I just had to find something that would suit me best. And since then, I had been looking for possible ventures, maybe start my own business, I've always been in startups and scale ups. So I was looking to maybe create my own startup. Then I found some guys that were doing exactly what I had in mind, what I had written down, sorry. And so I thought, okay, let's talk to these guys. So I started working as an employee again. And a few months later, I was still looking for other business models to be really my own man and start my own business. And that's when I stumbled across Shiv's website. So Unemployables, for those of you who know. And that's where I discovered the business model of rank and rent.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, it clicked immediately. So I understood the value that was there. I understood how you could get there. And it was very precious to me because it didn't require any form of investment. You didn't have to have a huge amount of capital. It's something that you can do in your own time, wherever you are. It's very flexible in terms of work and office, I would say. Um, and it was pretty scalable. And being based in Europe, it was so easy to try and find niches. So uh, I thought, okay, in the US, it's starting to get a bit competitive, but in the US, in the EU, it's wide open. Though there's a little bit of difficulty, but maybe we'll come to it in a second. But that's how I came about this business model. And 1.5 week ago, I subscribed to Nick's digital landlord program because I wanted to step up the game and scale faster.
I love it. So how long has it been since you got your first deal? It's been how long has it been?
3 days. It's
Three
been three
days
days since
since
my
you
first
joined.
deal.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy. So that's awesome, dude. So how long have you like known about it though? Like has it been like a year? Like the whole model in general, like how long has it been?
The whole model I started in end of January this year. It took me to February to really deep dive into it, understand all the facets and so on. So in February, I created a small company, personal company. So it's still everything falls on me. And I still am full-time employed. So I didn't have, and I still don't have that much time on my hands. So I work mainly at night on this project. And for a few months, since I believed in the potential, and I was so sure of the potential, I also saw things big and started training a team. So there are 5 of us around me, 5 people around me that I'm training, that I'm trying to get into the model, which takes a lot of time, a shitload of shit. Yeah, it's
Right.
very demanding to train people and try to deliver at the same time while being full-time employed. So I had to focus a little bit more. So it took me much longer because I wanted to scale too fast. So I would advise for people who really want to go fast, first get your first deals in, get some money, and once you are more comfortable, or you can leave your day job or whatever, that's when you start looking to scale and train people, because otherwise you're still discovering at the same time as you're training, you're fixing things as you go, and everything is just way slower, and also it takes more energy, and energy is everything you need for this business model, I feel.
Yeah.
um,
No, I freaking love it, dude. Yeah,
and I didn't have any deal in, so I was talking with a few people, but I didn't have any deals in until I signed up to the digital landlord program. So that's really the kick in the butt that I needed to refocus, and the last mile to start closing.
I love it. So you had that was kind of like your final piece that you needed to, like, okay, now there's my deal. Like, it kind of just all clicked.
Yes. So I can generate a lot of enthusiasm. I'm really good at breaking the ice, getting to know each other and so on and discuss, but I'm a very bad closer. So in terms of sales. So I get clients, customers very enthusiastic, and then I don't know how to present the contract. I don't know how to get to that last mile. And that's exactly what this group provided me with. I went to the script. I didn't use it as is. I had to adapt it because there's a bit of a cultural difference in Europe. But it helped me see exactly what needed to be done. And I have to say, it's the biggest break, or the biggest hurdle to overcome, is your own mindset, because people are just ready for it. If you present it in a nice way, they're not gonna eat you up. They're not gonna be pissed or whatever. They're just listening, and you just present it. And the first time you do it, it's really stressful. You're all kind of nervous. You fear rejection and so on. But actually, when it goes through, the feeling is amazing, and you're so full of energy that you're ready to go for and chase the next deal. So I understand the mentality now even better, that you have to close the loop once. You have to land that first customer. That's everything. Once you get there, you get so much energy, and I think you can hear it in my voice. I'm physically exhausted, but I'm super happy, and I have plenty of energy to give.
I love it, dude. So what niche was this? What was the niche that you picked?
So the first contract, because the first one was 3 days ago, but yesterday I signed the second one. And the first one was for massage, actually. Regular massage, nothing too bad.
You had
In
2 deals in like a
Belgium.
week?
Yeah, 2 deals in 1 week, in 3 days.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I'm super excited. So it was something a long time in the making. I just didn't dare to go for the close, because I felt that I didn't give enough value to my customer. So I thought, oh, it's not enough leads. I really want to give her value. She's a nice lady. I really want to, go the extra mile for her. And then I realized that, yeah, just go for it. If it doesn't work for her, it doesn't work for her. But you cannot just keep adding costs to you and not get anything in return. So even if it's just to break even, go for something. And it's important to close that first loop. So I went for it. she didn't even discuss. So it's a small contract. It's 300 euro per month. But now yesterday I signed an even bigger contract, still small. It's a 500 euro per month, but it's for a hypnotherapy sessions or trainings to become a certified hypnotherapist in France. So it's a pretty interesting niche, very far from concrete.
Very, very far. The concrete guys go to you to get their massages done.
Yeah, after the job
After the
when they're all sore.
dude, that's crazy. So why pick massage? Like what was going through your mind? Like I know different places have different kind of, I mean, like concrete's
So
really good in the US, but like why massage?
it's a bit random, but when I started talking around me about what I was doing, basically my business, what it was, and so on, and I started receiving some requests. And in this business, you can do it two ways. You either do how you're advised during the lessons, meaning you find a niche, you do your due diligence, and then you dig into it.
Uh,
Or, and that's what happened with massage and hypnotherapists, they heard about what I was doing, basically bringing home customers for my customers, and they asked, hey, can you do something for me? So I wouldn't advise to go that route, because this requires much more work up front, because it's typically rare that their niche is really open, like the ones you wouldn't find if you would look for it by yourself.
yeah.
So it took me a while to figure it out. I thought there was high demand. I had like if you're using a Google Keyword Planner back at the time, I was using Keyword Planner, and for massage I had 5,400 hits, even in that tiny city.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, cool. It seems like doable. But the next month it was below 1,000. And you could see that the leads are infrequent, and actually in summer people don't ask for massage. So it was a dead summer, let's put it that way.
Really? Why don't they ask for massages in the summer?
Maybe they go on holiday, they go somewhere else to get their massage. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they go for something else.
Weird.
I have no clue. To me, it would have been logical that they want to relax, summertime.
That's
Why
weird.
not enjoying one step further? But that's not how it works. So you discovered the niche as you go.
I love it, dude.
Um,
Okay. So hold on. Sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but like other than like what are the people like there? Like what was one of the challenges that you had? Like, because I know we have people in this group that are from different countries, but like what was some of the challenges that you had to overcome with being in a different country?
Especially in Europe, and I would say even worse in Belgium, France, but even the countries around us. The key issue and the key barrier for this business model is that people look at costs rather than returns on investment. And in the US, it's quite normal, usual. It's business as usual that you get, that people would give you customers versus a commission, or that you have to pay, and it doesn't matter how much you pay if what you get back is better. Like I don't care paying 10K if I get 50K in return.
Exactly.
But
Okay.
in Belgium, you have this mindset that everyone wants to control costs. So they would rather pay $50 to get 60 than pay 5,000 to get 10,000.
Okay. Wow.
Even if you can prove it. So it's there's really this psychology of, yeah, it's expensive. Oh yeah, but my cousin can do it for a tenth of your
Oh,
price.
yeah.
And oh, my sister done it for free, so why should I pay you? Yeah, what's your results? But
Exactly.
so you have to fight that, and you cannot be as much in their face, if I would say like this, like foot in the door, as you could in the US. I mean, culturally speaking, as long as there's value in what you say in the US, you can be pushy.
Yeah.
It's fine. But in Belgium, you get pushy. Oh, people, they have this diplomatic, maybe, let's see, let's talk about it, which
Yeah.
leads nowhere, and you
So
cannot go through that.
so you're saying you can't be as like upfront. So what do you mean by that? Like what's something that would be overbearing? Like I'm just trying to like understand like where you're coming from, like with contracts or something,
Like
like the wording
like the
of how it.
typical close, let's say
Yeah.
the typical close, Amex or Visa,
Uh-huh.
you don't do that here. First of all,
Okay.
they will never give you any number.
Yeah.
So you have to agree. The shit sandwich works really well. So you wrap things up nicely. Here's all you get for the contract. And by the way, guys, it's good to give them perspective. So you have to make a very high anchor so your price sits nicely. So my way of putting a high anchor is to find a lot of items, like I'm creating a website, I'm optimizing it, I'm making it SEO friendly, I'm maintaining it, I buy the domain name, I have the virtual phone number, blah, blah, blah. This you already cover
You're
in the
adding
lesson.
all this
But
value.
but I attach what it would cost you if you went to a regular marketing agency for this service, like roughly. Building a website, 4,000 or 5,000 euros. Optimizing it for SEO, 1,000 a month. And all those lines. And it all adds up to, let's say, a 40K amount. And I would say, but of course, guys, that's not what you're going to pay, because we're doing things differently. I want business in the long run. I'm not making money out of it right now. It's only going to be a benefit for me only if we keep going for over a year. So my incentive is to keep you over a year. So that's why it's not going to be a one-off. And from this point, they're primed to understand that whatever the price, I'm not benefiting from it. And it's already a huge discount from what they could get elsewhere.
I love it, dude.
So I give the price, they don't even discuss it. And then again, I close with everything they can get, the other side of the contract, how we handle it. So the price is in the middle. The closing is more around discussing the conditions, how free they are relatively to the contract. Is 6 months, but well, I'm not gonna sue you if something happens. We just have a nice discussion between one another, a gentleman's agreement. It's fine, blah blah blah. They
Yeah.
sign off, and then I sent the Stripe link. I cannot take in Europe. You never give your credit card data away over the phone. Never ever.
Wow. So that's how you get it, is through that.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
So has that been a problem for you? I know, like, can you use CallRail, Twilio? Like, what do you use for your call service?
I had to use Twilio. Callrail doesn't work. You cannot buy Belgian phone numbers on Callrail. It's just for US, maybe Australia, but that's it. So Callrail, I had to say goodbye to it, and it took me quite a bit of time because I'm not coding. I'm not a software engineer. I've never before Twilio. I had never written a line of code before. I'm not stupid, so I can easily find a code and replace the phone number if that's the only thing I need to edit. So I can do some small edits like this. And that's a little bit what I did with Twilio to set up the auto response and the whisper. But configuring Twilio took quite a bit of time, and it requires a back and forth also with Twilio support.
Gotcha.
Because some features you cannot activate them. So you have to know it by trial and error. You say, oh, by the way, I was stuck on this. For instance, receiving short text messages. That is something that you cannot activate anywhere. You have to ask support, and they will maybe deliver it to you if they're feeling nice about it. But their support is usually quite responsive, I have to say.
That's awesome. Wow, that's crazy. So yeah, well, I like having you on here though, because like I've talked to other people in like Australia and stuff, but never like Belgium. But I feel like everywhere you go, there's something a little bit different. Like the people are a little bit more bolder, or maybe they're less bold. Like, or maybe you have to overcome like these challenges of like just like the like. Do you set what do you use for your like your due diligence? Is it like SEMrush or what do you use? Ahrefs?
Uh,
Like,
so before Digital Landlord, I was only using Keyword Planner for the due diligence and not really looking at business owners at first, just making sure that there's a decent list, but not really analyzing if there were anybody paying. Because again, in Belgium, France, and Europe, we tend to pay much less for ads, which is also why it's all a bit more difficult. So in the training, you sell the sold basically,
yeah,
but you have much less people and the amounts are much lower than in the US, which is an opportunity because you spend also less yourself. There's less competition on the Google Ads stuff. So you pay less for Google Ads, which is good, but it's harder to make people understand why they should pay that much to get leads from you. Another nice thing also, especially in Belgium, but you don't hear about Angie.
Yeah, you don't have to be like, are you Angie's List?
Because I've got a few websites in the US because there I can land higher tickets easily, more easily at first at least. And yeah, Angie, I start to get the pain.
Yeah, no, I can't. You definitely, it's so annoying. You're like, so are you with Angie's List? You're like, no, dude, I told you I'm not with Angie's List, dude.
Yeah, no.
So last question though, what have you did you jump right into it, or did you drag your feet for a little bit, like with joining the
No,
course, you like doing it?
I jumped right into it. When I discovered Shiv's lesson, I mean, there's over 40 hours of video. I went through all in 2 days. I didn't sleep. I went to ×2 video. So I was laser focused. I had to understand and see how it made sense and how I could translate it here.
Mhm.
And when I subscribed to Digital Landlord, I backed myself into a wall. So basically, and that is something that I mentioned, but I knew that I had some websites ranking, I had some leads coming in, but I wasn't signing any contracts, and the energy was getting lower, I would say. Honeymoon phase was over. I had my team that is, we took on significant delays. My team was asking, hey, when can we hope to see some returns on all the time we've spent and so on. They have their own family to take care of. There's some pressure adding on. And so when I subscribed to Digital Landlord, I didn't have enough money to get it, and still don't, by the way. So I spread the payment into 5 months. All right. I paid the first, I can pay the next, but if I don't have more revenue, I cannot pay the third month. So, and
Mhm.
I'm being very upfront here, but that gave me a laser focus and an energy that I didn't have. I have faith that I can make it happen. I know it's possible. I know I can do it, but I really needed that extra bit of deadline, if you will, to really have that pressure. So I'm not stressed out, and I wouldn't advise everybody to do the same as I did, because everybody's different with regard to pressure and high stakes like this. But well, if you consider it a high stake, of course, in my case, I do. And but that gave me that extra something, and so I went right into it. I watched everything that was relevant into how to close faster, so the first 6-7 modules, I think, something like that, the yeah, until we get to the technical FAQ, because this is more for the rank the rank websites, and this I had already covered with Shivs. I'm curious to see the variations here, but I've already got the website, so I needed the close part. So I went through it all, and I started applying and modifying a little bit my contract, setting up Stripe, setting up all the little thing that you think, oh, it's going to be done in 5 minutes, and it takes actually hours. But it's by closing that first loop that you realize all the little things that are remaining, or that you need to do, and afterwards you can optimize. But
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I love it. And that's just, I love that you said that, because I think when you're at your lowest most of the time, like a lot of people, some people are just really like self-motivated, right? But I feel like when you really have the urgency, and Nick talks about this so much that I don't want to ramble about it, but it's like, put yourself in a position where like it's do or die, like burn the ships, like what, I'm not turning back, I'm gonna make this work, and you always do. And I know people, maybe people that watch this are gonna think differently, but I'm telling you guys, it's really exactly how Nick explains it. Like I remember when he explained it to me, and I was watching all his stuff, and I was like, dude, that's too easy. Like it really is. Like it's hard in its own way, but it's also like it's not any different. That's the thing I want you guys to understand, is it's not any different than what he's talking about. Like I know there's in different countries there's different struggles and all these different things, but don't overcomplicate this thing. If you hear something, obviously take it as if whatever you will, but like depending on who you're getting information from, but like do the steps, do whatever Nick's telling you to do the steps that people that have landed deals like Manuel, listen to him, do these, and just continually be growing in your knowledge, because I think you're a lot closer than you guys think, right? um but anyways, I just wanted to see if we had any questions, Manuel, and then if
Yep.
not, then we'll wrap up. But let me take a look. We had someone said congrats message is not a high ticket service. May I ask you, why did you go for it? So he just said, well, how come it wasn't
Yep.
such massage, not a high ticket? How come you went for it?
Well, it's the first. So it's someone who came to me for help, and I needed to have that first deal. I think the most important is to have the first deal. It doesn't matter. The amount doesn't matter first, because the first deal will close all loose ends.
Uh-huh.
By doing this, as I mentioned, Stripe, I thought it would take 5 minutes to create a link, but turns out you need to create a product, variation of price. You needed to have validation. The payment didn't go through the first time. Why didn't it go through? Have to bother the customer again. Hey, can you check? I didn't go through. Maybe I messed something up, and I wanted to give a small discount because we knew each other from another place, and blah blah blah. And all those tiny things are things that you always put to later until you have to close that first loop. So to me, it was more important to close and get some revenue. I don't have a lot of recurring costs. I have all the licenses of the tools we're using. I have the websites that are ranking that are costing a little bit of money, but that's not much. So to me, it was not about the amount. It was about helping out that first person and validating the whole process to me, to my team, and to the world. And now the second deal is $500. It's still not much in the grand scheme of things, but now I'm at break even related to my costs, and it just took me 2 hours of call. Well, no, maybe 1 hour, both calls combined, and I'm there. So really, it was more about proving myself that this business well works, that and to my team. So
Yeah.
that's why I agreed to this. And initially, I didn't know how much I would charge for those. Let's see how I can help out. I initially saw that there was a big niche. Turned out that it was not as big as I thought it was. And I'm trying to figure something out and get some cash, because as right now, I'm not in a position to spit on any cash coming my way.
Yeah.
So you better believe that I'm going to accept everything at first, and then I'm going to optimize and kick things off. Maybe it's not going to be really good. It requires too much time on my end to make it happen, to continue making it happen. I'm going to close it off as soon as I get my first 5 concrete websites. I don't care. The first thing is get some money, whatever money you can get from it, and then you optimize as soon as you get rolling.
Get your deal, and then you could always be picky later, but I love it.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
And also, I fully committed to leave my job by next month. So I had a discussion with my bosses. We live in very good terms, but yeah, I'm completely backed into a wall. So now I accept all deals coming my way,
I love it,
and
dude.
I
That's
try to
cool.
make the best out of it. Of course, I'm not gonna make a bad deal either. So even €300, I have to say, here for my websites and my cost is not a bad deal, I have to say.
In different, yeah, for sure, different places. I get it. Okay. Someone said, what's the potential there in Europe and some high potential countries there? And then he said, can you give me some clues?
The potential is huge in the terms of there is no competition on the even on some of the very big niche, but concrete you will not find anything. So the issue that I've seen is that each country has its own way of niches, or let's take insulation, for instance. Spray foam insulation is a classic in the US. If you go to the UK, there is nobody that's searching for spray foam insulation. However, they're looking for exterior wall insulation. Yeah, well, it could be spray foam. Why it is? Because they have grants for it. They receive grants from the state, so it's easy to get an insulation job, or at least it's not as costly as it should be for the user. So it's easier to sell exterior wall insulation. And these are all the small adjustments that you need to make per country. And Europe is a great market, but it's not as centralized as the US. US, you have this huge market, and whatever works in one place could very well work in the other. In Europe, it's really per country and sometimes per region. And you need to specialize a little bit. You need to have good command of the language, because people are much more put much more importance in trust. So yeah, it's a little bit different. Doing business is very different, but again, huge market, because there are not a lot of people developing this precise business model of rank and rent or digital landlords. There's
So
the
if I
niches
was
are
to,
wide open.
yeah, if I was to go into, say, or you're in Belgium, right?
Correct.
If I was to go into Belgium, would my accent or like how I sound, would that limit me to maybe trust?
Do you speak French?
Absolutely not.
Do you speak Dutch?
Nope.
Do you speak German?
English.
Then don't come to Belgium.
Yeah, okay.
It's
That was my. So you kind of need to have a little bit, because you're saying trust is a big thing. And if trust is a big thing anywhere, but like especially you feel like you need.
they're not used to that business model. They're not used to pay for leads. They're not used to use ads, and so it's really the barrier to adoption. It just piles up, and there's trust that you need to overcome. But if you bring something new, is good, can be good, but it's always challenging because you have to prove its value. And the fact that we give free leads works very well in that regard. But again, you need to convince people who haven't bought ads yet, and you need to make them understand that this is below average prices for Google Ads.
Gotcha. No, that totally
And
makes sense. And I think if I, like you said, if I was to ask someone for their credit card information and I didn't know that that was like a no-go, like people don't do that, like that would probably be an issue, right?
you would be flagged as a spammer, as a trickster, whatever. But no, you never give data of your bank card. Even the banks, you receive a lot of messages from bank telling you never share your personal details online or over the phone or whatever. If you ask, this is, I mean, you're not going to get sued because you're based in the US, but nobody's going to trust you anymore.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's fascinating. Was just totally different. So I mean, yeah, that's cool.
Yep.
You just have to kind of figure out where you're at and go with it.
Yeah,
Um,
so the niche are a little bit different, but again, no competition in terms of rank and rent. Nobody's doing the same. So optimization, SEO optimization is easy, really. In Europe, we're far behind in terms of SEO optimization compared to the US.
gotcha.
So you should see Europe as US like 8 years ago in terms of SEO and business model for rank and rent. You have a few guys that are picking up and trying to set something up, but market is huge. However, it's fragmented, so you have to know the niches per countries, and you have to know very well the language of the country you want to attack.
Gotcha. That's great. Thanks for the advice, though. I hope that answers his question. Okay. Someone said to make money, turn to USA is faster. In Mexico, it's also difficult to sell leads. Enrique said. Um, Nick said the daddy of digital real estate. Oh, you already know the daddy. Let's see what we got. I think that's all. Amir, he said BO stand for just business owners. If you probably got that answered. But
Yep.
okay, I think that's basically all the questions. I don't want to drag this on too long, but seriously, guys, if you have any questions and you guys are in different countries, hit Manuel up. I guarantee he'd be willing to like talk with you, kind of give you a little insight on what's going on. But at the end of the day, just start. Like I know we say this all the time, but just start. Watch videos, do your homework, and if you want to move fast, just pay for it. Like I don't know, like sometimes we're so hesitant to just invest in ourselves when that's like the greatest thing that we can do for us, right? Like you can go and watch a bunch of videos. You can take from this video some nuggets, watch another video, get some nuggets. But if you want to move quickly and you want to pin yourself against the wall like Manuel has, you need to move quickly and you need to make sure that there's a take back, right? And there is. You're going to land a deal within a couple months as soon as it just clicks in your mind. So stop wasting time and get stuff done. But any last things that you'd like to say, Manuel, before we hop off?
Simply that if you want to scale, also it's consider working with other people that are there. So for my websites in the US, the first deal I'm going to close them myself, but then I will be looking for some closers here in the US. So if some people want to don't want to care about the websites, the ads, and so on, and they just want to get on the phone and sign customers off, that's something that can work. And it works both ways. If some people know how to do websites in French, for instance, I can give them some niche in France and close myself, and we work out a deal. And I say this with myself, but you can find other people in the group. And if you make a kind of a mastermind, or if you group your forces, it's a good way to keep each other motivated, and it's a good way also to find niches, and you can achieve much more by being grouped than by doing it by yourself. But you take the way you wanna take. It's anything is fine, but close that first loop. That's the only thing that you have to do.
Well, thank you so much. This was really beneficial. I even learned a lot about different countries in Belgium. I might start to dip into some French here shortly.
Yeah,
But that's awesome, Manuel. Well, thank you guys so much. We'll be
you're
going
very welcome.
next week again, so you guys just get ready. Most likely going to be Friday again, so just get ready because we're going to bring these back. But get to work, and we'll see you guys next week.